Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Luis Trujillo.
Present.
Councilor David Romero.
Here.
Councilor Barbara Casey.
Present.
Councilor Michael Montoya. Councilor David Ulivari. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have a quorum.
Reina, could you please come forward to help us with the Pledge of Allegiance? And your princess, too. Please. You ready? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take a few moments just to thank everybody. Again, the city employees, thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to the water department who's been working overtime during our recent scare up at the treatment plant. Thank you to the city manager. Thank you to Maria. Thank you to all the employees who helped us with that situation. I'd also like to just have a moment of silence for a prominent attorney who passed away this morning, Arthur Bustos. We could just have a second of silence. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Casey to approve the agenda. Second, please. Second by Mr. Ulivari. Roll call, please.
Councilor Montoya.
Yes.
Councilor Ulivari.
Yes.
Councilor Romero.
Yes.
Councilor Casey.
Yes.
Have a motion by Councilor Casey, a second by Councilor Ulivari. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to public input. We have two individuals for public input. They are both veterans of Las Vegas. Mr. Paul Salas is the first with VVA VFW, speaking on veterans issues.
There's a microphone right there, Mr. Salas.
You have to tap it to turn it on. Oh,
There it
there we
goes.
go.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, and honored guests, the veteran community, we're here to discuss some issues with you in regards to some of our needs. And I know that we met with Mayor Trujillo a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday morning at the fire station, and we discussed some of the issues, concerns we had as far as veterans' concerns and issues that affect us as veterans. As you all know, San Miguel County has a large veteran population. Mora County has a large veteran population. Guadalupe County has a large veteran population. And all the veterans in these three counties contribute to the local economy of Las Vegas. This is where they come to shop. Veterans in the Tri-County area contribute $8 million or more to the local economy of Las Vegas on an annual basis. So tonight we're here to request or to discuss some issues that are concerns to us. One of the issues that we have is we'd like to have the 4th of July day where it would be solely to honor veterans on that day. As you know, throughout the wars of this country, that veterans have always been an integral part of our country, and we must never forget them. So we're requesting one day on that 4th of July for us to be able to share our lives with the community and surrounding areas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That was the reason why we put it on the agenda for tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, and we'll keep our meetings going,
Okay,
and I appreciate you showing up too.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, next speaking is Mr. Hinovevo Gonzalez.
Welcome, Mr. Gonzalez.
Well, what I want to say is just, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us here. You know, the reason we're doing this is because a lot of the veterans think that we, as a community, not only here in Las Vegas, but throughout this nation, they've been forgotten. Right now, you read about thousands of veterans living in the streets, starving, dying of sickness. You know, they're taking better treatment, better care of the people coming in, you know, from the borders. And just to let the people know that myself as a veteran of 2 wars, it's rough. We were there, we did our share. Why not help take care of these veterans? And if possible, maybe the council could set up some kind of, with our help, some kind of assistance. Or the council maybe should approach Santa Fe. There for a while, we had a psychiatrist that used to come down to us, talk to us once a week. And the veterans, I guess out of Albuquerque, they tell him, no, it costs too much money to bring you to send you to Vegas. Yet this guy was stationed in Santa Fe. And they put a stop to it. And we used to get up to 20, 30 veterans there at the VA Center on Douglas to come and talk to these veterans about the problems, to assist them with whatever paperwork they needed to get disability payments, to get anything that they deserved because of where they were at. So that's what I gotta say is this community, like the rest of these communities in New Mexico and throughout the United States, they should make some kind of effort to take better care of our veterans, because the veterans were there when this country needed us, not only in Vietnam, but now in Afghanistan and all these other places they're fighting. We need to support these veterans coming back. We need to give them, help them with education, with training, whatever else they might need to start their lives all over again. And basically, that's it. I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. You also did a lot of service for the city of Las Vegas, right?
Right, yeah.
How many
I was
years?
Enforcement for the city of Las Vegas and San Miguel County, a total of 34 years in law
Wow.
enforcement.
Thank you so
And
much.
32 years in the military with the Guard and active duty.
Wow. Thank you for your service.
You're more than welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Montoya?
Yeah, Madam Clerk, would it be proper for, since we haven't moved on from public input, to ask the maker of the motion in the second of the agenda to move the last item to item number 1? Because we haven't moved on from the second item on there. So my understanding is that we can go back to the previous item.
You mean approval of the agenda?
Yes.
To go back and?
Yes.
I've never seen that before, but I mean, it's up to the mayor, I guess, if he wants to allow that.
I'll allow it if the makers of the motion agree to changing the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, although I would like to do that, I don't think it's appropriate because it would be breaking protocol, decorum, and the rules of order that we are bound to. If you can find someplace in Robert's Rules of Order that we can do this, I'll do it, but otherwise, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, I believe that there is such a thing, that as long as we don't move on from the item following, that we can go back to it and change it. I just, out of respect to the veterans, I wanted to not keep them here all night. And I don't know why they were put on the agenda, but I would have preferred for them to be number 1 and move them on.
Well, we'll move along as fast as we can.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes public input. Moving on to mayor's appointments, reports, recognitions.
Mr. Mayor, I think I found a loophole. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to table all items 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12 up to item 12.6 till after item 7. And what we're doing is we're tabling everything till after. So I make that motion, and then we'll go back.
Okay.
So I make that motion.
There's a motion on the floor to table all the items and, except for
Adams.
item 7.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
There's a second by Mr. Montoya. Roll call, please.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Romero? Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
Counselor Livari?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Montoya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
According to Robert's Rule of Order, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Mayor's appointments, I just excited that we have the Reina here and the court, our brand new Reina for the fiesta.
I had done it.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah, he tabled all the items except for that one.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I take it back.
So moving on to business item number 7, discuss and consider dedicating July 4th to the veterans of Las Vegas at the fiestas every year. Mr. Mayor?
So I met with the veterans a couple of Saturdays ago, and we're setting up a regular meeting that we're going to meet quarterly to address some of their needs in the community. And they had several needs, but one of them that came up right away that I think is very doable is that we, for the 4th of July fiestas, that every 4th of July be dedicated to the veterans. And so we would organize that day dedicated strictly to the veterans in the community, and they could have their ceremony and do everything. They can honor the longest living veteran in Las Vegas, the family with the most veterans in it. They could do whatever they want. We'll help organize the entire day for them. And so it's going to be a long day, but it's going to be a long day of really exciting stuff for our veterans in the community. So with that, I bring it to the council to propose that the 4th of July be dedicated to the veterans of our community. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Montoya.
Yeah. Thank you, veterans of Las Vegas, for coming by and telling us about your concerns. Hopefully, this is just the start of it. Just to go back a few years, Mr. Mayor, you served with me when we dedicated 18 years ago the Miguel Encinas Armory Building to serve all veterans in the northern region of the state. Mayor Sanchez was the mayor at the time. We also have dedicated the Veterans Park on Mills Avenue to the veterans. We have the Salute to the Troops yearly event that the city took upon this year. Last year, we budgeted $2,000. Excuse me. This year, we have budgeted $5,000 for the veterans. I think we are honored by our veterans. I mean, I'm honored every day when I see one because of what the sacrifices is that they've had. I know we have Miss Anna on our audience. Welcome from Ben Ray's office, our congressman. And last year, we also had meetings with our Congresswoman Teresa Ledger because they were wanting to take away the services for the veterans on Douglas Avenue, the Miguel Encinas building. I think we need to go back to that, those talks with Teresa Ledger and get more help for them and for that center. I mean, I think Washington has a lot of money to give out, so I think that we can help them out in a letter of support or attending one of their meetings. I am all in favor for dedicating the 4th of July day to the veterans. I would also recommend that, the Fiesta Committee or the mayor, I don't know who does the what do you call that, and the parade? Grand Marshal. But I would hope that that they would select a Grand Marshal for the parade, and also the veterans have a seat at the table with the Fiesta Committee on organizing that first day. And I think that second, third, and fourth day could also be dedicated to other causes or other people or other organizations. That way, everybody has a day to celebrate during the fiestas and it not just being the 4th of July fiestas. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve this if there's no discussion. Is there
Second, Mr. Mayor.
There's a motion by Mr. Montoya and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Romero? Yes. Counselor Olivari?
Yes.
Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
Counselor Casey? I have a motion by Counselor Montoya, a second by Counselor Casey. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the 4th of July is yours.
The first day.
Absolutely. Next order of business.
Mr. Mayor, if I can have somebody motion to remove the items from the table?
Oh,
Mayor, I make a motion to bring all the additional agenda items back to the table.
there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Montoya to bring the items back to the table.
Mr. Romero.
I'm sorry,
First, second.
what's your name? Mr. Romero. Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Montoya. Roll call, please.
Counselor Olivari?
Yes.
Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
Counselor Casey? Yes. Counselor Romero? I have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Montoya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving back to item,
Mr.
Mayor.
Montoya?
Yeah, I see Commander Ludi on the audience. Would you like to say anything, Mr. Ludi, on behalf of the veterans and your organization?
Sure. I'll make it brief.
Thank you.
Make it real brief.
Yeah.
One of the things that I would like to say is that veterans are unique people. We don't go out looking for a pat on the back. We're not looking out for anything, from anybody at any given time. We go out and we perform our duties, and I state that as duties of responsibility to our fallen veterans for funerals, for rosaries, for items of that nature, to make sure that the families know, as long as we're here, as long as veterans, dedicated veterans are here, their families will not be forgotten, and our veterans will not be forgotten. The other thing that we do is we try to promote Americanism through the community by going to the schools, going and try to show patriotism throughout the community, no matter what. There was some things that were discussed at one time. I was told that we have a day for Veterans Day, and that's our day. That day was celebrated the first time on November 11th, 1919, and that was called Armistice Day. And at that point, from that point on, it was called Veterans Day. Also Memorial Day. That's a day that we have to respect our honored fallen soldiers from all battles, no matter what. We go out and we honor our veterans by placing flags at cemeteries to let them know to let them know, be there, be square, be there, be not. We will not forget them. And I want to thank the council for allowing us to have that day on the 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Ludi. And we'll be in contact about planning the fiestas.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, moving on, mayor's appointments, reports, recognitions, proclamations.
Now I get to talk about the reina and her court. So we have a new reina in town, and I'd like to personally thank Ane Romero for her dedication to our process here in Las Vegas, to making sure that we do have a fiesta, a reina, and all the pomp and circumstance that goes along with it. But with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Mia Marquez up to the podium and introduce her as our new reina. And if you please introduce your court. Thank you.
Mayor Trujillo and Council. My name is Mia Marquez, and I'm the 2023 Reina de Las Vegas. And I'd like to introduce my princesa, Jackie Romero, to say a few words.
Hello, Mayor Trujillo, council members, and honored guests. My name is Jacqueline Romero. I'm your 2023 Princesa de Las Vegas. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm 18 years old, I'm a recent graduate of Robertson High School, and I'm currently attending Luna Community College to get a degree in nursing. I not only have my responsibilities for Princesa, but I also have a part-time job. I'm also very involved in the community because I teach younger girls in ballet and folklorico. During my time here, being your Fiesta Reina, or Fiesta Princesa, I've been able to do a number of things. I've been able to help Luis Hernandez, our MC during all the breaks, or most of the breaks, at our 4th of July fiestas. Also, I have been able to go to salute to the troops surrounding fiesta events and other local events. I've also attended Music in the Park almost every Friday. During this short time, I've been able to meet with not only members of our community, but members of surrounding communities in New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, and Texas. I've also been able to share what we do here in Las Vegas. I hope that someday we're able to expand this program, as we're a small court, as you can see, but we're a very strong one. We go everywhere and attend everything we can do. I have been personally invited to go to a few events here in our town. If they happen, they are currently in the planning stages, but I'm so honored to get to do that. Another thing about myself is this is my second year reigning and representing our community. Last year, I was your dama. Through this program, I have made some friendships, and I hope they will last a lifetime. The only struggle we have is the lack of robust support, but with your help and support, we can make this program a huge success. Thank you for your time, and I'm open to any questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once again, my name is Mia Marquez, and I'm the 2023 Reina de Las Vegas. My parents are Anthony and Michelle Marquez. Since coronation, I've hit the ground running with many events that have been planned. Through this journey, I have met many wonderful people from Taos, Española, and Santa Fe. All the reinas that I have met, including their community members, have been kind, hospitable, and very supportive of us, and treat us like true royalty. I've created many friendships along the way with our members of our community, the other reinas, and other communities. For one example is Alfonso from Española. He is so kind and his smile can light up a room. Another person I have met along this journey is Don Francisco. He was our judge for our pageant, and from the beginning, he was stoic all the way to the end, which terrified me. But now we've built a bond and a friendship. Music in the Park and all other community events are great outreach to get to know our Las Vegas community, young and old. My reign has only been 3 months, but I am honored to serve and represent my beautiful community. This slideshow provides just a glimpse of the events we have attended. The music in this slideshow is by Cristina Perea. It's called Cumbia Norteña. I hope you enjoy.
gusta cantar con botellas de vino. Me despido con esta cumbia, bailando y cantando. Las mujeres más bonitas vienen del norte. ¡Vámonos, las norteñas!
Beautiful, thank you so much. And thank you for going to all the activities and stuff. We really appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Montero.
if I may, congratulations once again, and thank you. I've seen you at Bean Day, I've seen you in Santa Fe, I've seen you all over the place, at the music at the park. Thanks Chuck Grego that's helping you guys out through all this. Also, you know, it was so memorable to go to the pageant. And I think Ms. Anne and Mr. Ronaldo Maestas and Candace did an awesome job with you ladies. I think it was a packed house, and you guys have a lot of support from Taos and Española, which I'm glad, hope we can go and support them in their fiestas. But thank you for what you do. We appreciate it, and you represent Las Vegas well. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Ulibarri.
thank you. Mia's related to us, to my
Oh.
family.
Okay.
She's one of my sister's granddaughters. She's my niece. Mia, you did a good job. You know that I go out on Friday frescos, and I see you, we talk. I go around and talk to people, and they always have something that just, you're always smiling. You're a good person. Keep it up. You have a open mind, and you can talk to everybody around you. You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ulibarri. Thank you once again.
Sure.
Oh, Anya.
Mayor Trujillo, members of the council, thank you so much for inviting our royal court to be here this evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Anya Romero. I'm proud from Las Vegas. And I'm not in my official capacity working for Senator Lujan today. I did tell the senator staffing the Reina Court was way harder than staffing a U.S. senator. They have a lot more stuff than he does. But I just want to say publicly a big thank you to Chuck Grego for all of his support. When Chuck called to ask if I would take this challenge on and working with Candace Maestas, I actually didn't say yes right away, which was surprising for me, being a lover of all things pageants and crowns, because I had to take a pause. As you all know, Philip Ortiz and Rosita Alice used to run this program, and you never think that your heroes are no longer going to be here. And it was a reminder that eventually at some point we are going to have to take on the roles of our mentors. And it's been a true honor, I can say, to work with Jackie and to work with Mia. They are remarkable young women, but they are a symbol of the community and the strength and the beauty and the resilience of who we are. And I think a lot of times people look at fiesta pageants and things of that sort, and they think, oh, it's just beauty queens, and it's not. These young women, Jackie, this is her second year in the program, and it shows her resiliency to come back and to continue to give back to the community. Mia grew up as a very shy child, which I don't believe that at all now that I know her. And we only have one rule in the fiesta pageant, which is you cannot wear Crocs when you wear the crown. But these young women have been remarkable in representing our community. But I just want to also share the significant impact that it has to our community financially. Taos, Santa Fe, Espanola, all of those communities came to celebrate. Taos alone spent nearly $5,000 in this community overnight. The girls have given up their entire summer to travel along with their families. I want to say also thank you to their families because they have driven them. They have really put in the time that goes into this work. And so I ask for continued support from the city. We currently are in need of some things for the Fiesta Decor. As you can see, Jackie's crown doesn't necessarily match. This one I purchased because we're still waiting to get some new crowns in. Her crown is now broken. It was a crown that's been passed down for over 10 years now. These sashes, anybody that knows me knows that I cannot cook. I don't do any of that stuff. But I made these sashes and I'm very proud. The letters are following off and thanks for their grandmas and aunties. They sewed the letter back on. And then Candace and I were able, as a gift to the women, we were able to purchase them some really beautiful dresses. So when they represent our community, it's a reflection of who we are. And so just asking for your continued support. We would like to continue to grow this program. This was actually the catapult that gave me the confidence to feel that I could compete for the title of Miss New Mexico. And that was life-changing. So these moments, even them coming here to City Council this evening to speak with you, to know the appropriate protocol and how to handle that, these are life skills that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their lives. And I'll just end with this, the significant impact that they have on the children in the community, not just the little girls, but the little boys as well. They see that and it continues that feeling of being proud to be from Las Vegas. And I always say, no matter where I have gone in the entire world, no matter where I've worked, I always proudly wear that and say that I'm from Las Vegas, New Mexico. The first and the original and the very best. But I just want to say thank you to Jackie and thank you to Mia for all that they have done and given to the community and their contributions. And I want to say thank you to Mayor Trujillo for his support. And I want to thank the council as well. We actually had sold out. It was a completely packed. There was nowhere to sit for the pageant. I was pretty surprised. And although she's not here this evening, Candace Maestas and I, we actually put on the pageant, just the two of us. And we had folks coming up. They thought there was a whole production. And the program was actually printed upside down that morning. And actually, thank you to our county manager. He's going to be embarrassed, but he was helping the morning after because he was doing husband duties, not city manager duties. But we were printing out the program at Canada upside down, and you used it for the pageant. We shared with folks, and we said, the reason why it's upside down is you only have two people putting on this whole shindig, and everybody kind of laughed. But we do ask folks in the community to please come and join us, volunteer. We would like to grow this program, and we just thank you again. And again, I want to end by saying thank you to Chuck because he's been a big support system for me, somebody that I text and call almost on a daily basis. So again, your Reina and your Princesa for 2023.
Thank you, Ani. Thank you very much. Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I just, thank you, Ani and Candace, and congratulations again to you, Jackie, and to Mia. It's awesome, seeing you guys at the events, and more, like Ani said, is the way you interact with children and the younger guy, the younger people in our community, because, there's a few of them out there saying that they want to be Arena, and I'm sure that's how you both, grew at one time, and you saw somebody else, and I think that's kind of the tradition, and I just want to say that, you're right on this. Ever since Rosita passed, and we kind of had that lag in putting this event together. It's unfortunate that the previous Reina didn't have total support, and we're getting better. And thank you for all that you do, and Candace and Leo and Chuck. But I too am kind of discouraged when you see these big old Taos communities and Espanola coming together, and I don't think that we've done enough here with the city, and I think if we can financially support them, and I guess disclosure, Jackie's my little cousin, but I think that you know, we need to show that support that other groups, whether it's, you know, we get a committee together and fundraise as Rosita and that group did. But, you know, it's nice when those communities are coming and we're only sending a small. I know Chuck, you know, wears a big hat, but he can't cover for 20 of us at those at those events. And I just want to kind of suggest, and I don't know, of course, it's not an agenda item, but we have balloon fiesta that we're attending, and there's you know, during one of the events that we're actually sponsoring, if it'd be possible, if financial support to have these girls go out and give out information for the city of Las Vegas, if that would be, you know, okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, real quick.
Yes.
I just want to say, girls, that I am very, very proud of you because you have done a fantastic job in representing Las Vegas and wonderful, young, intelligent women. So thank you for that and keep moving forward. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. One last note, you know, Anne, it's a proven record where you are as a representative of the congressman, and also a proven record of another queen next to you, Laura Montoya, which is a state treasurer. So the sky's the limit, girls. You know, you decide what you want to do in life, and we'll be there to support. And like Mr. Romero said, I think we need to put more emphasis into the fiestas and pay more attention. Rosita is no longer with us, so I think that we need to, like Mr. Romero say, I know you guys were supposed to stay overnight somewhere last week in Santa Fe or somewhere other, and we need to accommodate some kind of funding, Mr. City Manager, for these ladies to attend overnight stays if that's what's required, like State Fair Parade or balloon fiestas or events like those. Of course, with parents and chaperones, but we need to support them in that funding. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, is there a consensus that I kind of see here without officially about the balloon fiestas?
Oh, definitely, definitely. But most importantly, if Chuck and Leo and Dominic can meet tomorrow and see if there's a line item from the fiesta funding that we can dedicate for Reina activities. I'm talking crowns, sashes, dresses, whatever, transportation. If there's a line item that we can create from the funds that are created by the fiestas dedicated to the Reinas, that would be great. And maybe we can act on that at the next city council meeting. But thank you very much, and you have a good evening.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
One last note, sorry, but I got to touch base on it. You know, when Rosita was alive, God bless her soul, I mean, she did a lot for this community, you know, left and right. You know, not only the fiestas, other things too. But, you know, I've been in a conversation here and there in pieces in the puzzle and trying to figure it out. But apparently, I don't know if the application for the Fiesta Queens says that there's a scholarship involved or not. But they need, city manager, I'm gonna give direction that you find out if that application gives out a scholarship for these young ladies or not. It doesn't. Anna's shaking her head. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. It doesn't. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm talking
because-
about, visiting
yeah.
that line
Okay.
item so we can
Yeah,
create
because
funding
there's
for that
a little
program.
bit of a misunderstanding on that part, so it doesn't have a scholarship to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. Next order of business, please.
Mayor, next order is councilors' reports.
I'm not a city councilor. However, I would like to commend Councilor Romero for the huge event that happened 2 weeks ago around the Plaza Park and Bridge Street. I didn't think it was going to be that big. My God, it was humongous. I thought when he first talked to me about it, I thought maybe just 25 cars, a band or something. I was just so impressed, and the number of people that attended. And Councilor Romero was helping to organize this, and it turned out to be a huge event. And the merchants around the Bridge Street and Plaza area were elated because it brought people to their doors and stuff. So real quick, just thank you, Mr. Romero.
I just want to thank Chuck and Angie in the audience, because all I kind of did was connect the dots as they kind of did a lot of the planning. So without them, it was just an idea that came up and turned into something huge. As a matter of fact, next year we're talking about going all the way to 12th Street, so that's our goal. So,
Councilors,
Mr. Mayor?
Ms. Casey?
That was first on my list also for my councilor comments. I want to congratulate Angie Lister, who is out in the audience, and Chuck Riego for their work on this, John Ludi, Anthony Baca, and Councilor Romero, who are all just working really hard to promote that event and to be there and to schedule everything and do all the work. It was just a really fantastic event that people were so excited about, and I hope that we will continue to do it in the future. I also want to thank B. Gallegos, who is the Animal Shelter Director, her staff, and the volunteers for the very successful community forum 3 Saturdays ago. There were 51 people who attended. There was a lot of discussion and concerns. People offered ideas and possible solutions. Other elected officials who were there were DA Tom Clayton, County Commissioner Harold Garcia, Councilor Romero, and myself. Major concerns centered around the need to pay for the necessary license required by the state of Colorado to accept some of our animals for fostering and rehoming, and I hope that has been done. The new tough shed needs to be wired, windows installed, etc., so that they can move animals in there. And there's also a huge need for more kennels. People were very vocal, and some were pretty upset, and pretty much everyone there was expressing a willingness to help. So I think if people can see that the city is doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of providing shelter and the needs of the animals, that those people who were there complaining will probably turn into volunteers, because all of them were very concerned. This last weekend, this last week, there was a concern about the rec center. It appears that part-time and new employees that are working on a temporary basis for the summer, such as the lifeguards, need better training. And last week, a private party was taking place, and young children were there, and the parents had rented the swimming pool for them. Some of the children reported that to their parents that men were in the pool with them, and also some unknown girls were showering there. Furthermore, the lifeguard left, and the kids were in the pool without a lifeguard. One of the parents had to get the kids out of the pool. When the one parent questioned the two women who were working, they said that the lifeguard left because she had other plans. Also, the area where the party attendees were supposed to eat had knee-high weeds that the adults with the group had to pull out in order to be able to set up chairs and tables and eat without the weeds right at their sides. The next item, I did speak to Bill Hendrickson from the Realtor Association regarding the property on the corner of Lee and 7th that the Litherland family donated to the city. And I told him about the council considering that piece of property as a food truck park. He said that maybe something that we should have taken into consideration is that setting up tables, like picnic tables for people to eat there, that it may create an issue with restaurant owners who may feel that the trucks have an unfair advantage over the restaurants that don't have outside eating areas. He also informed me that he is meeting tomorrow with the Realtor Association, and he will discuss the issue and get back to us. I would also like to ask our city manager to give us an update on the status of the cabin site tank, please, if you would do that.
Yes, good evening, Ms. Casey, Mayor and Council. We did receive all our tests back, and they were all within our normal parameters. So we did acclimate the tank back into the system, and that's being repressurized and repressurizing the system as we speak. So everything is within normal operating procedures.
Has an investigation started as to who may have been responsible for the sabotage of the tank?
Yes, ma'am. We did have law enforcement, PD, did their investigation. They took some evidence from the property, and they're doing their investigation as we speak as well.
And is PD the only entity that's involved, or are state police also involved?
FBI has been involved since that day, so we're working with FBI. Any information that we get, FBI is gonna be aware of it.
Right, because it is an issue of domestic terrorism.
We also,
Something to harm so many people.
we also did a root cause analysis with the staff to find out what steps we missed, what can we do to improve, how can we avoid this, what can we, so that was really helpful. So there were quite a few changes that were discussed, and some are being implemented as we speak.
And will we get a copy of those?
Usually root cause analysis are usually confidential, but I could share some of the, talking points with
Okay.
what
Just
we.
what's being done to improve the situation
Yeah.
so it doesn't happen again. I don't want to know who did what or
Yeah.
anything like that. I just want to know what needs to be fixed.
I'll send
and how-
something
How do
out.
we do it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Montoya.
Yes, a couple of weeks ago, we attended the annual New Mexico Municipal League in Farmington, New Mexico. Councilman Romero, myself, city manager, and 5 other directors. I think it was something that we all needed. I think that we made a lot of points of contacts, and we learned a lot from the trainings that they had. We learned from other cities and emergencies that they have had, like Angel Fire, Bernalillo, and Santa Rosa. One of them was a school shooting, the other one was a bike rally shooting, the other one was, what was the other one? Can't think of the other one. It was 3 emergencies. Anyway, during that time, we also, a block away from where we were at, right in the middle of downtown Farmington, literally a block away, they have exactly what we're wanting to do over here on Lee Drive and 7th Street, where they have a canopy for music or bands to play or people to gather. They have picnic tables all the way around. They have lights back and forth, and they have a bunch of trailers set up all the way around for vendors to go out and display their food and sell their food. I think it was a great idea for them to do that downtown. They showed it off as one of their displays. So actually, our evening function was there. The barbecue and the whole thing was there in the evening, which was really, really nice. I think that we deserve to have something like that in Las Vegas, and I think that's a good location for something like that. Food trucks are all over town anyway. I mean, they're on 7th Street, they're on 12th Street, they're on Old Town. I mean, they're at the flea market, they're everywhere. So, I mean, I think that gathering them all together in one spot would be something nice for them, and people can select who they want to go eat at. A lot of times we go to restaurants and guess what? They're closed. Either closed early or closed all day. So I think it's good to have a choice. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Oh, the Legion project is coming along well. Every day I walk out the door and there's movement. It's coming along, and, you know, sidewalks, curves, and handicap accessibility and so forth is getting done. The issue with that project is that every time you cross an alley or a street, you're hitting the gas lines or the sewer lines, and that's what's kind of delaying the project or slowing it down somewhat. But it's coming along, and hopefully by December we'll be done with the project there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other counselors?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor.
First off, thank you guys for acknowledging the event being successful. And again, Angie, and I guess Chuck's not here. But again, it was a community effort. This wasn't just the city, it wasn't just the chamber. There was just so many individuals, so many businesses donated items. So it was a, a great thing. So another thing that I didn't get a chance is thank you, Chief Span. I know you had 2 trucks out there. We weren't able to get PD out there because I guess they were out in Guadalupe County. But thank you, Chief, for having your guys there, and I think it was a successful event, and I know that John's with you, and he'll announce some stuff later. But Chuck's not here, and I was gonna let you guys know, with us sponsoring the Balloon Fiesta, doing a sponsorship, I wanted to announce that I asked Chuck if he could reach out to the Globitos, one of the events that we're hosting at the Balloon Fiesta, and I passed that down.
Can see it, yeah, Globitos.
So they've committed, we'll just have to work out a time, but they've committed to coming down and doing a show for us. So.
And they're miniature versions of hot air balloons, but they're very beautiful.
They're remote control, they're about 6 feet, 7 feet tall, so that's coming soon, so we'll figure, and Chuck will update us on that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Next order of business.
Mr. Mayor, our police chief's report. We have Mr. Antonio Salazar, Police Chief.
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening again. The monthly report for August, I'll go through it fairly quickly. We had 1,346 calls for service. The burglaries have actually gone down per month. We had 6 non-traffic, and we had 127 traffic citations. Information, our records division, we had 175 incident reports that were closed out and 27 crash reports that were closed out, and a total of 261 citations. Let's see, we'll go to the search warrants. Those included vehicles and homes. There were items found in all 4 of those search warrants. We recovered 1 stolen vehicle. We currently have, we'll go on one of the search warrants, and just off of patrol, we seized 83 fentanyl pills. We also seized 5 firearms. Our animal care center, I know Councilor Casey had a question about the cat shed. It's about 70% complete. The wiring, we just got the rest of the wiring equipment and things like that in, I think, Monday. So they'll get it squared away. They should be done with the wiring by, I don't want to give a timeline, but fairly soon. After they're done with that, we'll get the insulation and the sunlight panels, and also a window in there. They also attended a family fun day at the Carnegie Park. Some of the events that we attended and we did patrol for. Family Fun Day, both homecoming parades. I believe this is West Parade. That was Robertson Parade. There's the mayor right there. And there's Chuck way in the back over there. We also attended a hiring event at the rec center.
Thank you.
And these are our vacancies, and I stand for any questions. I'm sorry, and also another one to address with Councilor Casey. We ordered, I believe, 35 kennels in preparation for those PACFA transportations and just everyday use.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? Next order of business. Thank you. Mr. Matera.
Yeah, Chief, the trailer that's parked over on Union, 200 block of Union on the city right away, what's the update on that? Or what's going on there? Whose is it, or why is it there?
That was, let me check, we just got an update on it. That was red tagged, and let me see. The red tag was expired, I believe, yesterday, so I need to follow up on that. We red tagged it 5 days ago and it expired yesterday, but I can follow up on that. I'm not sure if it's still there or not.
Thank you.
Can you give me an update on that as soon as you find out what's going on?
First thing in the morning, or I might even pass by after council and I'll check on it.
Thank you, Mr. Chief. Next order of business, a finance report. Thank you, Dominic, I appreciate it. And once again, I always tell you this, but how much I appreciate you. But I'll always tell you that because you're such a great worker and everyone appreciates you. And thank you for stepping up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again. I have the August revenue and expense report. From the general fund, we have a surplus of $492,827. In the enterprise fund, we have a surplus of $448,486. On our recreation department, we have a deficit of $13,468. On our lodger's tax, we have a deficit of $26,543.
Deficit?
A deficit.
What would cause a deficit in the lodger's tax?
Well, first of all, and I was gonna mention this after I went through it.
Okay.
As of right now, or as of August, we had not done our payroll accruals or accounts payable accruals. So 100% of the last payroll is gonna go back to prior year. So that will pull off that deficit definitely, in both the rec center and lodger's tax.
Okay.
And our cannabis, we have a surplus of $19,948. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Mr. Chavez, is there anything in your report that you need to alert the council about or that you're concerned about?
No, the only thing I was gonna mention was the payroll accruals and the accounts payable accruals have not hit, they'll hit in September.
Okay, is that normal? Or is it
Yes.
just? Okay,
Yes, definitely. Last year it wasn't until October that it hit, but yes.
okay. Well,
Mr.
thanks again, Dominic, appreciate you.
Mr. Mayor. A month ago, you had asked that the city manager come up with a list of lodger's tax projects that we can use up that money with. Where are we on that?
Counselor, so as you all know, we did an RFP for promotional and marketing with Sunny 505. That encompasses about $260,000 of our budget for this year. That was what the project was in there. We've obviously approved another $28,000 for the balloon fiesta. That's in the lodger's tax. We can look to see what we're gonna have left and what kind of revenues coming into the fund, and try to present some items, either it's infrastructure or advertising events that we can present to mayor and council.
Okay, because we need to use up that money. It's just sitting there, and we need to have projects for them.
Could we put that on the agenda for the first meeting in October to generate some ideas as to how we're going to spend down that money? Also, we had a recommendation that our budget, that we needed to spend down some of our money that we have in reserve. So maybe we can have that conversation as well. I'd like to blow all that money if we can on nice, good things for the community and maintain a healthy reserve.
We did budget $425,000 in expense over what we expect to receive in revenues, so we are, city manager and our office is trying to get that money spent down. Of course, community development.
Thank you.
So, Mr. City Manager, on the lodger's tax with brochures and all that stuff, that's coming out of the encumbered money, the 200 and some thousand, all that stuff's gonna be purchased out of that encumbrance, is that?
With the contract with Sunny 505, you're
Yes,
asking?
yeah.
In which brochures are you talking about?
The
ones that
visitor's
were-
guide, the visitor's guide brochure,
Yes,
stuff like that.
those are all
that's
in
coming. Okay.
part of their scope of work, yes.
Thank you, Dominic. Appreciate you very much. Next order of business, please.
Mr. Mayor, presentations not to exceed 10 to 15 minutes. We have one presentation by Fire Chief Span and John Albertson, E. Romero Museum Clerk, speaking on the operations, performance, and future goals of the E. Romero Fire and Acequia Museum.
And thank you, and just in consideration of the length of the agenda, if we could stick to the 10 minutes, please. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We're coming tonight because several years ago, y'all asked us about getting our museum opened up and running. Since John has been in his position, you'll be amazed at the numbers he's gonna give you and what our museum's doing over there. It's to the point where I think we need to keep it open 7 days a week. So we'll be getting with city managers, see if we can get more positions. But now I'll introduce you to John Albertson. He's our museum clerk, but we call him our museum caretaker.
Welcome, welcome, John.
Thank you. My name is John Albertson. I'm born in Albuquerque, lived in Santa Fe a long time, been in Vegas for a couple of years now. My wife worked up here for 12 years. I'm very excited about the Fire Museum, the history behind. I feel that it could be a destination, not just a place. You know, I do have quite an agenda here that I know that I'm from the private working. I've never worked with government before, but Chief here is filling me in that. But I would like you all to go through this and look at it, and we need to do something with Bridge Street. I mean, to make it, and I feel that E. Romero, we could make it a destination. I mean, I need to get some way of getting donations. I get money thrown at me all day long. And, you know, people are expecting to go into a museum and you know, donate or buy something, and I have no way of doing it. When I started in May, I had 10 people in there. In June, 103 people. July, 165 people. August, 185 people. As of right now, September, 332 people. A lot of that was because of the car show. That Saturday wore me down. I had 92 people in there. And it is we need to polish it a little bit. We need to, I don't know, make Las Vegas proud of what they are. Put the names of the fire people, the firemen that have been there, the years they've worked there. I mean, I've had people come in there and say, that was my great-grandfather, you know, in some of the books that we have. And it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming to them and to us.
We had talked about one time, you know where the bell is in the back? My favorite
Yes.
part of the museum is to create a memory wall.
That's
back there, and families would pitch in to buy a plaque for their grandpa that used to be a fireman, but to utilize those walls to make sort of like a memory garden.
idea.
Yeah. But let us know, is all that information in that presentation? Do you have ideas or?
Yes.
Okay.
I have all kinds of ideas. All kinds of ideas.
Do we need to develop like a merchandise corner where you can buy a little fire truck?
We've already purchased equipment to sell merchandise, but we're waiting for the IT to set up a POS system for us.
Okay.
Yes, I have no way of
Sound.
doing anything.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and I would like, you know, under supervision, to be able to, I mean, when I went to the Hall of Fame, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and, you know, I got pictures from my refrigerator that I've had up there for years and years. We could do the same thing so easily.
With that old fire truck.
So easily, you know, get a Dalmatian dog up there, put a little fire hat on, take pictures of the kids and the family, and it would be a wonderful thing.
Well, thank you for all your work and taking ownership and loving what you do. I think it's admirable. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Mayor?
if I can, I just, I know, we have a long agenda, but I think this is important here. I mean, I know I've walked into that museum a few times, but now that John's been there, he started giving me details on stuff that I was like, wow, I mean, he really, really, you have a passion for what you're doing, John, and just some of the insights, and I know you're going to give us that brochure, but I think it's important that we have this discussion here and maybe even give the direction. The POS system, you mentioned to me when I went to visit with you, on the tour, You know, you had somebody go by and offer you $50, but you couldn't take it because you didn't want to deal with cash or nothing. So there's that opportunity when you go to a museum, there's that, you know, the donation box or whatever. So I think if we can give guidance to the city manager to do that. Also the merch, you know, you can't sell that merch without, you know, this could be, I mean, this museum is something that, you know, we talk about Las Vegas with the destination. Well, that's one of those places that, and you're seeing the numbers, you know, now that we have somebody there that's not just sitting at the desk and, you know, waving at you as you're trying to open the door, he's actually going out there and bringing people in. And that's what we want, because we get people in there, they spend time, you know, the idea of the pictures and stuff like that. I mean, every time we go somewhere, you know, a museum or anything like that, there's always that, you know, and all that can do is eventually fund a second person, and you know, that's what we want. That we want to share that history with our community, and I don't think that we're, you know, that was the whole intention of when Main Street got involved with, you know, fixing up the museum and doing all that. But it was like we got the money, and I know we couldn't even spend it all, but there's that part to where, you know, let's make something right, and not, sorry to say this, sometimes we half-ass stuff. You know, this stuff, it has a lot of potential and a lot of opportunity, and I think we need to support it, and the quicker we do that, you know, by getting that POS system, by putting that merch, by putting, you know, I know in speaking with Senator Mo Maestas now, you know, his family was a big part of that, and I know we kind of had the conversation with him to where maybe he could fund a little more, you know, to that. I think we need to really like give direction here that if that's what we want to do.
I think the direction should be for you to create a museum board, a fire museum board that'll present ideas and agenda items to the city council. That's just an idea.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Last year, I visited the fire museum up in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm sure Chief Span has been there, but I sent him some pictures of what they're doing up there, and I mean, they have 4 fire trucks in the museum. They have 5 different rooms. They have the history of the firefighters. They have a little room just for kids to play with fire trucks and so forth, and it was amazing. I came back over here to visit ours, and there was a couple, if you recall, there was a couple from Texas with 2 kids, and they walked in, and I walked in, and you were showing them around, but they left empty-handed. I felt so bad. I went to the truck.
Me too.
And I came back, and I gave them a couple of our city pins for those kids, because that's all I had. But, you know, we should have those plastic fire hats, or, you know, some badges, plastic badges.
Coloring book.
Coloring book.
Safety,
you know,
fire
stuff like-
safety, anything, yes.
But where I'm getting at is, you have some monies that we gave you last year that I think you can dip into those monies, because it's all educational, and you can use that money for stuff like that.
Can definitely make that happen.
We need a POS system to sell it. I mean, that's the big part. So.
Or can you put in a purchase order for a POS system, or do what you need to do?
Yes, we're just
Okay.
waiting for guidance from IT. They were now looking at the best system. They're looking at what the regs use. So make sure we have a secure system where everything.
Very well.
no hiccups.
Thank you.
And plus, I mean, we're only open 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. I mean, I'm marking how many people show up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, you know, is to make the strong points. The biggest thing that I get from people is, I didn't even know you were open. You know, anyway, we have a diamond in the rough, is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, and thanks for all your hard work and energy you're putting into this.
May I hand this out
Yes,
to y'all?
thank you.
Mayor and council, Chief, myself, and Mr. Albertson will meet on Friday morning. We have our bi-weekly meeting, and we'll go over some of these obstacles that Chief's having there at the center, at the museum, and figure out some solutions for those.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate, I have one actually. You gave me one.
This one's updated.
Okay. Next order of business, please.
Mr. Mayor, moving on to our business items. Our first item is consideration of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME Local 2851 agreement. We have our HR Director, Darlene Arguello, and also Mr. Chris Armijo with AFSCME.
Thank you, Darlene. Thank
Good
you,
evening,
Chris.
Mayor and Council. So this evening, I have with me Mr. Chris Armijo. He is our AFSCME representative, and Mr. Abraham Maestas, he's our union president.
Welcome, Mr. Maestas. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you. So as you all know, we've wrapped up negotiations for this year. And so this year we had 5 articles that we negotiated. And so our first article is Article 16, Safety Aids. And that one is for adding safety footwear and budgeting $250 annually just for safety boots for union members. The next one is Article 36, which is the increment longevity pay. And that's, as it stands, annual of 19/6 anniversary increment. So we've increased that to 22 cents. Article.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
I don't think there's any questions. I make a motion to approve this contract.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Romero. Second, please. Second by Mr. Ulibarri. Roll call, please. Mr. Montoya.
Should have discussion if people want to discuss.
Excuse me?
I said we should have discussion if people have questions or want to discuss.
Well, yeah, some
specific
people
items
are
before we
always in a
vote.
rush, but, you know, this is important to me because, you know what? I've asked this staff, this administration, that I want it to go, and the mayor and council included, that I want to see a $16 employee entry-level rate at City of Las Vegas. And this has been going on for about a year already. The last raise was 62 cents, I think it was. Now we're doubling it to $1.20. I say a CDL holder making $12 an hour or even $14 an hour, don't cut it for me or for his family or her family. A CDL holder needs to have qualifications, just as a police officer has to have qualifications. And to me, if we want to recruit people that are good, that want to come work for the City of Las Vegas, and it's a good place to work at, I think we need to pay them well too. Now, I did review this listing, and it shows that 5 people are under $16, and there is 19 people that are at $14. And our police officers, and not to cut them down or anything, or that department, they came here asking for $4 raise. And negotiations, I guess, have started for this next year, and they're due, December? But either way, I'm gonna set that aside. All I'm saying is that where is that increment to start at $16 raise for our employees?
With all due respect, I think that would be a discussion for our next item, for item number 2, because this wasn't negotiated. We're just going through the articles that were negotiated on this round.
And why can't you go back and discuss them and then come back? Is there's no time or what?
Because they've already agreed on the contract.
It's already
always-
clarified through the union.
You can, well, they should have come before us during all this time.
That wasn't,
I feel my input is, Ms. Darlene Arguello,
Mr. Mayor,
I
so
think-
this is for the articles only.
Yeah.
The next item, so we have a first and second on the articles alone.
Just let me remind people, this has to do with collective bargaining. It should not be discussed in an open forum. This needs to be discussed in closed forum or an executive session. Any mention of any compensation or any offers that anyone's making can be public record and used for the whole proper negotiation. So I would recommend that we keep the discussion of collective bargaining to a minimum in a public forum. Thank you.
this item includes the 120 raise per employee.
the $1.10.
Pardon me?
The $1.10.
$1.10, I mean, yeah. So we're on the right item.
On item 1.
But it doesn't have anything to do with the minimum wage increase. And that would be an appropriate discussion for item number 2,
Okay,
but not this one.
okay.
This is separate.
I'll reserve my,
Okay, thank you, Councilman. I'll reserve my comments to item number 2 then. And call for the question. If there's no further discussion.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Romero? Yes. Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
Counselor Livari?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Livari. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 2, request approval of a salary increase of $1.10 to the regular hourly rate of pay to all non-bargaining unit who have successfully completed a 6-month probationary period, to include part-time employees with at least 1 year of continuous employment with the City of Las Vegas, and a 22-cent increase to their regular hourly rate of pay at their anniversary annual date of hire. Mr. Arguello?
Good evening again. They don't need.
No, I know, but in case they wanted to mention anything or something on the last item, we didn't really review that.
I don't know if they can anymore.
If I may, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
I'm Chris Armijo, I'm the staff representative for Aspie Council 18. Councilor Montoya, I appreciate your comments, and right now I know we're waiting for a new pay and comp study, and that's pretty much all we're looking to discuss. Probably down the road, maybe we can do some midterm bargaining, and we can see what you can do to not only recruit but retain the employees you have. Mayor Trujillo, good seeing you, sir. You know, it blesses me. I sold my house here a year and a half ago, here in Las Vegas. I lived here for 17 years, and it really grieved me that I moved from this community, because there's so much love in this community and caring, and you as the government party that oversees the city and its functions and take care of your people. I appreciate Mayor Trujillo for mentioning from the very outset, you know, about thanking the employees for the city of Las Vegas. I am so, again, really distraught that I had to move out of this community, and you know, you recognize your veterans and how wonderful that was. Once again, not to give all the credit to Councilor Montoya, but for David Romero for finding a loophole. That was a good arenas. You know, I've seen across northern New Mexico where a lot of that culture and tradition is being watered down. I don't want to speak ill of a community, I won't mention their name, but Santa Fe has really watered down their entrada, and they didn't allow the arenas to go into the schools. It was amazing. But you appreciate your people, and I appreciate you for doing that. And if I had my druthers, I would think I would try and find my way back here. But I want to thank you all for the concern and the love you have for your employees and your people. And I just want to thank you for accepting this, and after we ratified our contract. And there's still more work to be done. We understand you have a budget, but you know, we work with what we got, and we're appreciative of what we got. The $1.10 an hour on the compensation historically hasn't happened, and I forget what the last mayor was here, but it's been many years since we've gone over that dollar mark, and we appreciate all the hard work that Darlene put into the negotiation. She's no pushover, and I didn't even get a chance to, because the city manager was in a meeting that day when we concluded, because I always like to go and shake the city manager's hand and thank them because of the efforts they put in. So, city manager, if I may, I'd like to thank you personally for the work that you put in. And that's pretty much all I have to say. You have anything to say, Abraham? Just thank you guys for everything.
Thank you. Thank you for your professionalism during negotiations too. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Montoya?
Again, Darlene and Mr. City Manager, I appreciate all the work and I know you guys have a plate full of issues and problems that you guys deal on a daily basis. But this is my second request in this last year's negotiation. I said the same thing.
the governor is doing her own thing about the minimum wage. But the problem that I'm encountering here is we don't have no police officers, we don't have no one in the water department, we don't have no one in solid waste, we got to shut down, we're cutting down services to constituents. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on that we don't have the employees. And then the part of it is this. You guys, the directors and upper management, you guys are taking the load. And if we don't get good people with good salaries to come work for the city of Las Vegas, that's going to continue to happen. And we're getting people leaving all the time. We had a concern about qualified people at the rec center. Well, who in the hell is going to want to come and work for $12 an hour? They can't feed their family. They can't even. We had a 3.2% inflation this last year. That means the way of living, gas prices, and everything else goes up. I mean, and I'm one of those that I worked here 4 years, 90 cents an hour. I moved up to $1.10 an hour. I left. And other people will do the same. But I had asked specifically that we start everybody that comes to work for the city of Las Vegas at $16 an hour by this time. And next year, we worry about the ones who catch up to the $16 and $17 and move them up. So to me, this is, I mean, I'm being ignored on this contract. I mean, you guys do your own negotiations or whatever, but if you don't want no input from mayor and council and we just do the approvals, I mean, then I guess I'm wasting my time on this one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Item number 2, Mr. Romero.
I just want to make a comment. I'm probably the toughest here on Leo, and I don't know if Darlene takes any of this heat sometimes. You know, the big part of this, and Councilor Montoya, you're right. You know, we have the hard workers, but this is something that I think that we need to address, and that's where I say this pay plan, and thank you, Chris, for bringing that up, you know, that you guys are willing to wait for that. I know it's been outdated, it was never presented to this council, and I'm going to continue with that pay plan because that's where all this is going to be addressed. You know, we can't penalize and hold any union until we focus on that pay plan. And so, you know, you have timelines that have to do. That's why we're here, and this is why this contract is up. But I think that it's important that we still, you know, put pressure. We as a council, a governing body here, is not let the city manager, and I'm sorry to kind of put you on the spot, but, you know, get that to us ASAP and work on it, whether it's bringing those consultants in again. And I did sit down with Darlene, and I was kind of disappointed that in the scope of work that they didn't have to do a presentation to us, and I think that's where it dropped the ball. The city, they did a presentation to the city manager. They didn't feel, it is what it is, but I think at the end of the day, HR wasn't too happy with the way it came out. And that's where, when it comes to us and they do the presentation, then they gotta sit right there and be under the heat of the gun and say, hey, what you presented isn't what we wanted. And that's where we put some of these contractors under the gun, and we need to do that. And I'm asking for your support because that's, you know, we need, I mean, I'm sure, you know, our city manager thinks that, oh, just Dave and his pay plan, but, you know, it needs to come from all of us so they understand that we're serious about that. And that's where we're gonna take care of, you know, the guys that are working on the bottom, you know, the guys that are working for the $12 an hour, but it's a complete system that even, you know, finance needs to really get involved and make sure, because we can't say we're gonna give $16 an hour to everybody and then it throws us in the budget and now we can't fix our roads, we can't do that. So it's something that everybody needs to come together and let's do that and let's make that a priority as this governing body. I'll just say that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next order of business, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the salary increase.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Romero. Second, please. Second by Ms. Casey. Roll call, please.
Counselor Montoya?
Can I say something real quick? So we did implement the $14 an hour. I know that's not what you're asking for, and I know that's not, still livable wage in a lot of people's eyes, and I understand that. I really get that, but we are moving forward in that step at least. And so, you know, for a lot of employees, that was a $2 increase already right there. We are working on the pay plan and getting that done again, and so that will be brought to you guys. And so we are moving along with it.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
May I ask, by when will that play pan, even
Well,
ready?
I need to go out for quotes and get that salary study.
And how much you would pay the last time?
We paid about $8,000.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Montoya.
Well, as I stated, I'm disappointed, but yes.
Counselor Olivari.
Yes.
Counselor Romero. Counselor Casey. Yes. Have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Casey. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate your hard work and your dedication.
Mayor and council, as I mentioned at the last couple meetings, that we were waiting to finalize the AFSCME increases so that we could use those numbers to put into a potential pay plan. And we will focus on that and present it in the next month or so, depending on how fast we can work with our contractor to update the last pay summary, salary study that we did.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a comment, and I know that we had this whole surrounding, with contract, with these contracts, but, and we have our public safety and we have our roads guys, but if we had no roads guys busting their butt to, the minimum wage, then we have no officers patrolling the alleys, because everything becomes a mess. So they're just, we have to look at the bigger picture and not just, AFSCME or the police or the fire. We need to treat everybody equal. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next order of business, please.
Item number 3, request approval of Resolution 2324, a budget adjustment in the 2023-24 fiscal year budget. Mr. Chavez, our interim deputy finance director, our finance
Hello again,
director.
Mayor and Council. I'm here to seek approval of Resolution 23-24.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-24.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Romero. Second, please. Second by Mr. Montoya.
For the Finance Committee.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Olivari.
Yes.
Counselor Casey.
Yes.
Counselor Romero. Yes. Counselor Montoya.
Yes.
Have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Montoya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 4, request approval of resolution number 23-29, approving the sale of obsolete city assets at an online auction.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve Resolution 23-29.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the resolution. Second, please. Second by Mr. Ulibarri. Roll call, please.
Counselor Casey.
Yes.
Counselor Montoya. Yes. Counselor Olivari.
Yes.
Counselor Romero. Yes. Have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Olivari. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate your work.
Yes.
Item number 5, request approval of Resolution 23-30, accepting the grant offer and to apply for a match waiver administered by the New Mexico Department of Transportation and the Department of Finance Administration for the 2024 Transportation Project Fund for a total amount of $2 million. We have our public.
Motion to approve Resolution 23-30.
Welcome, Mr. Arnold. There's a he never gets to speak.
All right.
But thank you, Mr. Romero. There's a motion on the floor. Second. Second by Mr. Ulibarri.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Discussion.
Mr. City Manager, where is the $100,000 coming from on this project?
Sir, so this is, we're going to be applying for the match waiver in this grant.
You don't get it, where is the $100,000 coming from?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Councilman, that's exactly why I wouldn't give you any money from my funding. I'm putting it in, just in case.
Thank you.
Where is that money coming from?
As Councilor Romero stated,
From your fund. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Did we roll call?
Counselor Casey.
Yes.
Counselor Montoya. Yes. Counselor Romero. Yes. Counselor Olivari.
Yes.
Have a motion by Counselor Romero, a second by Counselor Olivari. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arnold. And
Thank you, Arnold.
Danny.
Moving on to item number 6, discuss and prioritize legislative requests. Mr. Mayor?
So what I'd like to do for this agenda item is ask the city councilors to prepare a list of priorities and bring them to our next meeting and then we can rank them. accordingly. Just to inform you that we would like this list by the next city council meeting or prior so that we can rank them and prioritize them. Mr. Archuleta, did you have some information for us?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I just want to alert the council and mayor that it is a 30-day session. It's on the fast track. The opening of the session is January 16th, and legislation can be pre-filed by the 12th of January. So the sooner we get those requests in, the quicker we can get them into legislative council services.
And do we have the most current ICIP
Yes.
plan? Okay. So it should be based on that. Okay. All right. So for the next meeting, prior or as soon as possible, get me your rankings, and then we can vote on them in an open public and see how we're going to go for that money.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, if there's any new projects that are not on the ICIP, I also caution you to get those to me as soon as possible, because I will have to get with DFA and build that project as soon as possible.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
If I could just mention to Mr. Archuleta, there are two issues that I'm concerned about, and I know that Councilor Romero is too. One is the shelter. We really need money for the shelter. We need more kennels. We need a real building. The building that they're in now is it's in terrible condition. And even the volunteers are reluctant to get in there because it's just so deplorable. We need to get that taken care of. And so I'll try to write something up for you with Councilor Romero's assistance, because he was also at that meeting that we had on the shelter, and of course, our police chief. The other issue is the drainage problem on Lutheran Drive leading to Collins Drive. That really needs some work. It's in terrible, terrible condition. And I want to thank Arnold for his assistance because we were kind of blindsided. I got a call from one family and they said, "Can you meet with us?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Will Arnold come too?" And so I called Mr. Lopez and he said, "Yes." We showed up, but they surprised us with everybody in the neighborhood there. So we had like a mini community meeting, which we weren't expecting, but everybody was very concerned in that area. So I want to thank him for hanging in there with me, because we were both like, oh my gosh, all these people here. So that's another issue that I think really needs to be addressed. So, but I will send you more information.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Casey, today we did identify a USDA grant that could potentially be used for a shelter. It is a grant loan program, but I need to figure out and read through it to see if the city would qualify. But there is one potential grant out there right now.
Oh, great. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Archuleta, can you also add a backup generator for City Hall? And also check with your city manager, see what computers need to be replaced this year. I know we have a whole bunch that are outdated or old. And maybe we can add that to a CIP plan and also to a legislative request. And I had my list here ready to go, but I'll meet with you later.
Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, so we get him the list, but we're still going to approve him as a group, right? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just kind of, as Councilor Casey mentioned, the shelter is something that I know even the county's talking about it, so maybe even on that, it could be like a joint request where it's a little more strong, powerful.
So we just had a meeting, we were there with the joint powers, thinking about doing a joint powers agreement with the county because they use a lot of our services as well. And it was a very good meeting, and we're moving forward, and you'll probably have a resolution in front of council to enter a joint powers agreement with the county here shortly in the next month or so. So we can talk more about it.
That's for me, something we need to address fast because I think that thing's turning into another mess again. And but the other thing is we need to really, really continue to build the streets department. I know, little by little, we're getting a little bit of equipment, but let's continue to, work on that because of course we can't fund one street, fund one street at a time, look how long it takes. It took for Legion, and then now Crestone, that was 2 years going, so, but if we could temporarily fix some of these streets with new equipment, and I think for the longest part, the roads department was, having to be dependent on Maria a lot, so as we get bigger, more equipment to that department, I think we'll get more done, so I just food for thought as we're putting these lists together, thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
There's a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.